Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy, Michael Cosby. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Cosby, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida, too. Mike Cosby, 561-441-2730. A ride.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at amazon.com/new Alexa.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, by the way, Robert from Brooklyn, you're going to love this news when you hear this. But first, here's a little tease. It has to do with Ilhan Omar and maybe an investigation into her. She's certainly been on the radar of late. And of course, it's her, just literally her constituency. It's her area. It's her district that she represents, where they're looking into $1 billion worth of scam in the Somali community in her area there in good old Minnesota. Well, first off, let's go back a memory lane. Here's a little bit of President Trump. This was one of my favorite lines. He said this yesterday. The woman with the little turban. So you know she's been on the radar of late. And here's President Trump just yesterday.
I think that's a great, like Somalia. Welcome. Do we have any individuals from Somalia in the group? Please raise your hand. That's for Minnesota, you know. That's called the Great Big Minnesota Scam with one of the dumbest governors ever in history. I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, I mean, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military. They have no nothing. They have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing. They have no police. They police themselves. They kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country. And she's always complaining about the Constitution allows me to do this. We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in, right? She married her brother. Can you imagine if Donald Trump married his sister? Beautiful. She's a beautiful person. If I married my sister to get my citizenship, do you think I'd last for about 2 hours, or would it be something less than that? She married her brother to get in. Therefore, she's here illegally. She should get the hell out. Throw her the hell out. She does nothing but complain.
So now, President Trump today was asked again about Ilhan Omar, and he repeated the brotherly love comment. Here it is.
Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud.
Yeah, guess what? Marrying your brother is a fraud. That's the allegation that she did to get into the country, they say. And here's a bombshell, and this is again for Robert in Brooklyn, because you've been talking about this. Here's Tom Homan. He was just asked about it a few hours ago, and he was asked, well, did she marry her brother? And what's going to happen if that's not legal, if it was a false representation on her coming over to this country? Because, of course, she's not born in America. She was born in Somalia and then came here. So coming to this country at the pleasure of this country. And listen to what Tom Homan, my buddy, the border czar, had to say. He dropped a bombshell.
You know, I just got advised by a fraud investigator the other day on that. I asked the question, who reviewed the file, and says, there was immigration fraud involved. The statute of limitation became an issue in the last 4 years when this was first brought up. Who was president? Who ran DOJ? So pulling the records now, pulling the files, and we're looking at it. But this fraud investigator, who I know personally, one of the best fraud investigators in HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, said there's no doubt he reviewed the file. So I'm running that down this week, matter of fact, and we'll see.
Wow, I'm running it down this week. I'm going to make sure that the statute of limitations, if they said it elapsed, I'm going to make sure that's correct. And if not, what are they going to do? But he said, yeah, we're actually looking into that. Can you imagine? Congresswoman, could you come to a meeting at the White House because we need to revoke your visa? You're being deported. Boy, would that send a message. And listen, if she did commit fraud on her application coming here saying, oh, it's my husband, and it turned out it was really her brother, and she's not married to her brother, that is misrepresentation. And Tom Homan says there's a lot of misrepresented Somali visas. Take a listen.
Those days are over. Thank God President Trump's in the White House. We're going to look at all of them. I mean, we're going to look at those here illegally, of course. We're going to look at those here under a visa or some sort of, immigration process that are criminals. We're going to look at the national security threats. But those who came through a process that weren't properly vetted, who didn't provide documentation, who slipped through the Biden's weak processes on, giving visas and temporary, whether student visas or visitors visas or whatever. We're going the whole gamut.
I love Tom Homan. When I talked with him just a couple days ago, we're like, well, what are you doing about Mamdani saying he's not going to cooperate? Well, too bad. We're still going on with our mission. What do you think about Ilhan Omar? Well, too bad. If she's here illegally, she's here illegally. And you know what that means in Tom Homan's book. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Judith in Brooklyn on line 1. Go ahead, Judith.
Hi, Rita. I read an article, and I'm sorry, but, I hate Ilhan Omar, and she deserves everything she gets, and I hate Mamdani. But I read something today, and I said, I've got to speak to you about it because it really bothered me. It's got to do with 4 Democratic governors, and one of them is, guess who? Kathy Hochul from New York. So I read about this big, beautiful bill act that was signed July 4th by President Trump into law, okay? And what this big, beautiful bill does is it gives tax relief to everybody, okay? And it's like tax cuts. This bill provides tax cuts would benefit hardworking Americans, affecting low and middle income households. And, there's a quote here, the most pro-worker, pro-family tax reform in a generation. And that's strong language, Rita. But I want to tell you, part of these tax reliefs, 3 of them itemized was no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and a new tax deduction for senior citizens on Social Security. But guess what? This Kathy Hochul, okay, our Democratic governor, they and the other 4, the one in Illinois, Pritzker, and
yep,
the
good old
JB. Colorado.
JB.
Yeah. But we're affected here in New York. They play partisan games, and she's playing, and they're blocking this on purpose. They're blocking it on purpose. They're playing partisan games.
I was going to say, stuff. You know why they're doing that. You know why they're doing. It's Trump derangement syndrome.
But okay, but you know what? That's too easy for them. They're trying to drag down this national economic recovery that Trump is trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. Not only that, they want to raise taxes for us because they want to make us so miserable and blame it on Trump. When it's President Trump that provided this bill, and they should, for the sake of everyone, okay, and caring for everyone, they really cared, they would allow us to have the benefits of these tax breaks that so many other states are doing. But
Judith, but the bottom line is, and I hear what you're saying, but let's go back to the shutdown. I thought the shutdown was disastrous for this country. I mean, anybody would say that it was half a brain. It was horrible. Look what it did to those on SNAP. Look what it did, the Women and Children program. Look what it did to air travel. Look how many people were furloughed. Look how many people had, to get second and third jobs, air traffic control operators. I mean, there's so many, right? So, but the reason I bring that up, they were willing to have the government stay shut down. And it was only because there were a few senators at the end of the day that were probably hearing so much from their constituents that they had to finally say, enough, I'm voting to end this. But they were willing to shut down. These people are willing to do anything, Judith. And that's why I also brought up the crazy impeachment mania. These people they'll say, oh, yeah, he walked across the street the wrong way. Let's impeach him.
Well, first of all, you should know when it comes to impeachments, there has to be some sort of guidelines on even starting an impeachment, for crying out loud. But this tax
there has to, but that's never stopped them in the past. And it's that Al Green guy, the cane shaker, I call him, not to be confused with the singer that Matt Blaze likes.
Well, Rita, Al Green called for impeachment in 2015. Do you know that? He was one of them. He was one of the things. So he
got out of the womb. As soon as he got out of the womb, he said, there will be a president named Trump, and I'm going to impeach him.
And this guy Elias, all of them, they're crazy. All of them, they're crazy. Oh, what's her name? The blondie, and she divorced him. And he also, with the impeachments, I forgot already. The Lincoln Project people, they're crazy. Oh, yeah,
Kellyanne Conway, right. Kellyanne, who's terrific, and her husband, George. You're right. He couldn't wait he's not to be confused with George Washington.
Rita.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, but Rita, I want to just tell you something. This spoiled me when I saw this, because you know why? Because all of us could use these tax cuts to benefit. It's so amazing. And they're doing this on purpose, just to start up and just to blame everything on President Trump. And the economy's no good because of President Trump. And here, President Trump's bending over backwards, and people are being able to benefit by this, and they're cutting it. And clueless people and say, oh, look at this, President Trump, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, it really is despicable. And that's why, it's interesting you bring this up, Judith, because I've been covering politics, as you guys know, a long time. I was based in Washington for Fox News. I was senior correspondent there, and with Fox for 10 years, before other networks, and here a long time. I've covered so many presidents, and I have never seen it where one party is, that person's a Nazi, that person's a Gestapo, right? And nothing, he could literally, he could cure cancer, and they would say that's not nice what he's doing. Rita, there's something wrong. Rita. And that's a dangerous place. Don't you think, Judith? We're at a very dangerous place in this country where they're willing to shut down a government, where they're willing to not give vital tax cuts. And where I think the Republicans could do a better job, you guys, is I think the Republicans need to get the message out that you're saying, because it's so transparent to many people, but not every American knows the nuances and understands. They might just see the headline on the Democratic side, or they watch CNN or MSN Now, and they don't really understand that what they're saying may not exactly be correct. So I think they need a better messaging machine, because I think they have good facts, but maybe they need better messaging. And I think Trump feels that way too, which is part of the reason he's getting out on the campaign trail. Who better messenger than Donald Trump himself? I can't think of anybody, but I think he's realizing he's got to start getting out there to help the party and to help really get the message out of a lot of the hogwash that we're seeing. What are your thoughts, Judith?
Absolutely, get the truth out. But my thoughts are, how could this be? You're only 29. Hello? Hello, Rita.
Yes, that's true. Thank you very much. Actually, you dated me. I'm actually 28.
Okay. Sorry. But I just like you're telling me 10 years here, 10. I go, how old is this woman? She's like 39. Like, please,
I swallowed the fountain of youth. But you know what? But you know what? I've spent a long time covering politics, Judith, and I love politics, but I've never seen it so nasty and so divisive. And I never saw it where I'd see there's always, a spin and different things. I've never seen it where they would go to such desperate lengths where they would punish the country, to your great point tonight, for the sake of politics. There was always a voice of reason. Maybe there are a few fringe people, but sadly, it seems like the fringe is taking over, and it's like the inmates are running the asylum now. What do you think, Judith?
100%. You said it exactly right. 100%. Like, take a look at Mamdani. Okay, this idiot took this felon for 7 years in prison. He's going to be like telling him what to do, and he's going to be, right? The guy, Justice Department.
Yeah, the criminal justice reform.
Yeah.
By the way, I can't wait, Judith, to see who's going to be on the stage next to good old Mamdani at the inauguration. That will definitely be one for the history books. Oh, there's the guy who says America deserved it. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's the father who said suicide bombers are pretty good. It could be like a rogues gallery. Judith, pray for America, and you got to fight for what you believe in. I certainly am in my 29 years. Thank you very much. I love you even more, Judith. 1-800-848-9222. And you're listening to The Rita Cosby Show, a very young Rita Cosby.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This shrimp and coconut sauce is divine. What's your secret?
Goya coconut milk.
How does it taste so good?
It's all in that real coconut flavor and that rich, creamy texture.
What about thickeners and added sugars?
None. Just smooth, coconutty goodness.
What can I make with it?
From curries to sweet treats like coconut flan, the possibilities are endless.
Goya coconut milk. Take your cooking to the next level. No question about it. Find it in the Goya section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
This episode is brought to you by Blink. Doom scrolling during this ad break? Ditch the doom and get peace of mind with new Blink 2K Plus Smart Security. Check on home from your phone with 2K Clarity, noise cancellation, and 4x zoom. Plus, setup is so simple, you can easily install while listening to your favorite podcast. True crime girlies, we got you. Get more, spend less with Blink 2K Plus Smart Security.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Jay Kelly, the new film from Academy Award nominee Noah Baumbach. George Clooney stars as an actor confronting his past and present on a journey of self-discovery, alongside Adam Sandler as his devoted manager. Critics are calling it a declaration of love to the chaotic art of filmmaking, with the Wall Street Journal praising it as a transcendent comedy drama. Jay Kelly is now playing only on Netflix.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Joaquin in Pennsylvania, line 1. Go ahead, Joaquin.
Good evening, Rita. Unfortunately, I think we've reached a point where this is now more than just politics. And the more I'm looking at things, it seems to me that the invasion that was led and perpetrated by the Democrats into this country by all these, illegal migrants, I believe that this invasion may have been successful beyond their wildest expectations, because when you look at the losses recently, in Miami and in the Georgia State House and those, it seems that a big part of it actually was regarding, the policies towards illegal migrants. And if we've reached the point that this really can be a tipping point, we have a big problem here.
Yeah, that's a great point. By the way, Joaquin, I don't know if you heard our earlier broadcast, but one of the things we were talking about was this sort of invasion that's happening in Europe. And you're right. I agree with you. I think the numbers are so huge, and who knows how long it's been going on. I mean, it was very obvious under Joe Biden but who's to say, under Obama too, and some others that we may not be aware of. And also, we talked about in Europe, the EU is forcing European countries now, Joaquin, that they have to take 30,000 migrants each by a certain date, or they need to pay $23,000 per migrant that they refuse. Like forced invasion. That's what that is.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Everyone wants the Emirates NBA Cup.
And things are heating up.
30 teams started. Bang! But only 8 have advanced to the single elimination knockout rounds. To survive, they'll have to be hungry, relentless, ruthless.
Are you kidding me?
They all want the cup, but only one team can claim it. Who will capture the cup? Emirates NBA Cup knockout rounds begin December 9th on Prime.
The Lincoln Wishlist sales event is happening now. Here's what's on everyone's wish list. Enjoying holiday jingles with brilliant 3D audio that surrounds you? Check. Watching snow flurries through the panoramic Vista roof? Check. Packing up presents with the spacious Lincoln Splitgate? Check. Everything you want. All standard on the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV. Visit your local Lincoln retailer or learn more at Lincoln.com for exceptional offers on 2025 Lincoln vehicles today.
Introducing Meta Ray-Ban Display, the world's most advanced AI glasses. With a full color display built into the lens of the glasses, it's there when you need it and gone when you don't. Send and receive messages, translate or caption live conversations, collaborate with Meta AI, and more. Be one of the first to try Meta Ray-Ban Display. Visit meta.com/Meta Ray-Ban Display to book a demo and find your pair.
Rita Cosby is on.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, Joaquin was talking and others about the Miami race. And that is, of course, that was the mayor's race where a Republican lost for the first time in 30 years as the mayor of Miami. And Suarez is the mayor there who's done a really, really good job. And yet, clearly, something went wrong because it wasn't good news for the GOP. And a Democrat is now going to be the mayor of Miami. And the Dallas mayor, Eric Johnson, he's the chairman of the Republican Mayors Association, putting out a big warning call saying that the GOP needs to wake up, that what happened in Miami could happen in other cities across this country, not just Latino majority cities like Miami. He also says that the Democrats got involved very early in the Miami mayor's race. They put in, he says, a ton of money, particularly once the primary was determined. And he says that they got outspent 19-1. So I guess the question is, did the Republicans sort of sit on their laurels and not really take it seriously, the threat that was coming from this Democratic, individual who said they could win? Maybe they just thought, oh, okay, it's always been in Republican hands. We don't really need to worry about it. It is a big wake-up call. And by the way, I agree with the Dallas mayor that you can't take anything for granted. And this is going to be a no-holds-barred kind of year, I think, on so many levels. You got Mamdani in New York as the mayor coming in January. Then you've got Katie Wilson, let's not forget, in Seattle, who's like a mini Mamdani. Now you've got a liberal in Miami. You can bet they're feeling emboldened, the Democrats, and you can have more Jasmine Crockett's out there, and that means sheer craziness. Earlier today, we talked with the former House Speaker, who is so great, Kevin McCarthy, And he says, buckle up, because the midterms will be a take no prisoners kind of race. Here is Kevin McCarthy. This is cut number 10. Take a listen.
This race is going to be very close in the primary. I mean, in the next election, midterm election. And if the Democrats take control of the House, they are not only just going to try to impeach the president, they're going to try to impeach, as they're showing, every single person in the cabinet. It's not on merit or anything else. Pure politics is what they want to play.
Pure politics. And it's not just what you see. It's also in the courts, in the judicial branch. You realize of the district judges, U.S. district judges, there are 677 across this country. That includes Judge Boasberg. Remember, who stopped that flight that was taking out some of the worst illegal criminals in our country? Oh, don't take those nice, sweet people trying to mandate national law, national policy. I mean, it's really just incredible to see judges overreaching. But you're going to see anybody who has liberal leanings, seems like a lot of them are overreaching these days, no doubt. And now another one has come out and essentially said, this is the brother of Stephen Breyer. It's Justice Breyer with the U.S. District Court. He's come out and said that the National Guard should not be in Los Angeles, and it shouldn't be under the jurisdiction of President Trump. It should be under the jurisdiction of Gavin Newsom, who, no surprise, has quite a different policy than President Trump. And here is Professor Alan Dershowitz. We talked with him earlier about all this, and he said this is lunacy.
But I think all these Democratic judges are taking power away from the executive branch, and I think the cases ultimately we get to the Supreme Court. You know, it's a hard question under the Constitution. The 10th Amendment says that power is not specifically delegated to the federal authority, belong to the people and to the states. And how do you divide that authority? Certainly it doesn't belong with the governor, because the governor could be the villain here. The governor could be the one who's not giving a proper police instructions and proper safety to the people. And, you know, in some cases, at the very least, the Supreme Court's going to say that the federal government has the power. Other cases, they'll say they don't. It's going to be very case-specific and fact-specific. So there's no one-size-fits-all answer, I think, to this problem. It's one of the most difficult, delicate, and nuanced problems under our Constitution. But there's no doubt that right now the judiciary has far too much power.
Yeah, I would say so. There is no doubt to me that the judiciary has way too much power. I mean, again, I brought up Boasberg. Think about all these other crazy decisions that have happened. And it's all this sort of bogged down President Trump. We were just talking with Judith about, you know, the Trump derangement syndrome. Even if something was good for Americans, like tax cuts and certain things, no, Trump created it. The shutdown, let's keep it going. It doesn't matter if it penalizes millions of Americans. Don't worry about it. If we can use it for some political advantage, let's do it. It has to do with Trump. And it wasn't until they saw it backfiring that they suddenly caved in. It wasn't like the goodness of their heart. But what that showed me, that moment singularly, in many ways, you guys, showed me that there are no limits to what Democrats will do to block Trump and his agenda and anybody associated with him, like his cabinet. And that also includes these rogue judges that we're talking about. There's a lot of them across the country, and that is a really big concern. Can you imagine if the ability of certain things were left to the states only on certain issues like the National Guard? This case about the National Guard, is there any doubt that if it goes under the jurisdiction of Gavin Newsom solely, even if things are getting completely out of hand and there are protests and riots and all these other things, remember, things were getting out of hand, and that's when he sent in the National Guard there to California, specifically to L.A. And then they were met by resistance. And you never saw Gavin Newsom saying, please stand down. Please don't hurt our law enforcement. He was just criticizing law enforcement. It was really a remarkable and very revealing moment. But can you imagine if he's in charge of suddenly the National Guard? It would be like, okay, you guys pull out. we're going to give you a picnic 5,000 miles away and you can't come back, there would be no law and order. It would be like, keep going. No worries about the protests. And that's also what I worry about in New York, too. But here is not only Gavin Newsom, there's a lot of these crazy, specifically, if you look at governors that would have the jurisdiction, according to this left-wing district court judge. And you can bet President Trump's going to appeal it. But in the meantime, he's abiding by the courts, which is the right thing to do. But it's bogging him down. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. So at the end of the day, the Democrats can say, oh, you weren't able to really do this. They only came in briefly. They really couldn't make a big mark, as opposed to saying, we're the ones who blocked you, and that's why you couldn't do a big job. But here is J.B. Pritzker, of course, Illinois governor, and he's always had some nice things to say about the National Guard.
Other than fighting crime. That's the first thing they should understand. The second is it's an attack on the American people by the President of the United States. Now, he may disagree with a state that didn't vote for him, but should he be sending troops in? No.
You said he has other aims. What are the other aims?
The other aims are that he'd like to stop the elections in 2026 or, frankly, take control of those elections.
And guess what? J.B. Pritzker's not alone. Oh, no. Good old Tim Walz, tampon Tim Walz. He's always said some nice things, especially about ICE, about the National Guard, and he's clearly not a fan of President Trump. So can you imagine if the National Guard was under his control? And this would be his message to President Trump.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, no one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core. Let that sink in and don't be a damn bit afraid of saying it, because that's exactly who he is.
What a nice guy. And it's not even, wait till next year, guys, midterms, you're going to see, tampon Tim Walz out there, and you're going to see J.B. Pritzker out there. You're going to see Gavin Newsom out there, not only trying to help those in Congress, but positioning themselves for the next go-round for 2028. And there was a New York Times story that just came out a few hours ago that said, don't count out Kamala Harris. Really? I counted her out when I first saw her speak. I'm all for a female president, but it's got to be a qualified female president. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And by the way, everybody, coming up on December 20th, it is home for the holidays with Mr. Christmas himself, the great Vinny Madunio. Get ready to slay your night away with live performances, ugly Christmas sweaters. What would Christmas be without that? And also jolly friends. It's Mr. Christmas, Vinny Madunio, singing your holiday favorites. And who doesn't love a great holiday song? Live in concert December 20th. And for more information, everybody, and tickets, go to homefortheholidays2025.com. It is Mr. Christmas himself, Vinny Madunio, who really is terrific. Live in concert. That is homefortheholidays2025.com. And let's go to your calls, guys. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Robert in North Carolina. Go ahead, Robert.
Good evening, Rita.
Good evening. By the way, where are you in North Carolina?
Western North Carolina.
Yeah,
I moved there.
What
Suffolk.
city? What city?
Morganton.
Okay, I know where Morganton is. I used to work at WBTV in Charlotte. I love North Carolina. So go ahead.
Okay. Arrest officials not honoring detainers. I'm with Judith. We have to get tough. They are thumbing their noses up at federal law, obstructing justice, and interfering with the administration of immigration law.
I agree. And by the way, what about obstruction, aiding and abetting? Why do you think they've been hesitant to do that? The only ones I've seen that they've taken the books to, but they were very clear cases. Remember that judge in Wisconsin, Robert, who was like sneaking the inmate out the back door when I showed up? to grab that. That was pretty clear cut from what I saw, my opinion. And then LaMonica MacGyver, not to be confused with MacGyver, the series, but LaMonica MacGyver from New Jersey. Remember, she was pushing the ICE agent there at the ICE detention facility. She claimed she was pushed, but what I saw, it looked like she was doing the pushing. But to me, it seems like there should be a lot more of those cases. And how is it not? You know, when you're putting up, what about these applications, these websites that they're setting up to report, ICE getting out of line? Or what about Mamdani putting out his video the other day, Robert, that says you don't have to answer the door essentially to ICE. You have the right to remain silent. That part was in the video. They have the right to lie to you. I mean, he clearly is vilifying ICE in this video. How is that not somehow aiding and abetting, or at least obstruction? If you talk to attorneys, that could fit that category. Your thoughts?
I think that's close to the line, but clearly not honoring detainers is violating the law and is a crime in two ways: obstructing justice and interfering with the administration of immigration law. Correction commissioners and others should be arrested.
Yeah,
for telling their people not to honor them and letting thousands of criminal illegal aliens out on the street to victimize all of us again.
But Robert, hold on one second. And here's where I take issue. You just said corrections officers, or you can't blame them. In some states, by the way, there are people like, who was it, the Minneapolis police chief the other day, who was saying, residents, if you see ICE at your door, call 911, like they're robbers or something. That was horrible. But for the most part, Robert, you look at these corrections officers and they're just trying to do their job. And in many cases, they are told by the politicians, here is the policy, whether you like it or not. Here's what you can do and here's what you can't do. And if you look at like New York, for example, where Zohran Mamdani has said you can't cooperate in any shape or form. And they even pull people in, if you, quote, violate the, quote, sanctuary city policy that these politicians lay out. So I actually feel bad for there's a lot of great people in law enforcement, 100%. And there's also a lot of people that would like to be able to turn them over to ICE, but are being told, if you do that, you're going to lose your job. And that's a problem. And that needs to change, too. So I don't want to go after the law enforcement, but politicians who set this policy and are directing illegals how to evade ICE, that's a problem. And I'm with you on that one, 100%, Robert. We're going to continue your calls, everybody, after the break, 1-800-848-9222. But first, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Great Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a powerful story from Palatka, Florida, where at the community hospice and also care center there, 104 years old veteran Anita Morris, a veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard, was honored in a special pinning ceremony, thanking her for her service. How beautiful is that? She is a resident of nearby Jacksonville and a daughter of Italian immigrants. And she enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard in 1942 during World War II. She worked in support of the World War II Beach Patrol in Jacksonville Beach as there were concerns for the menace of German U-boat submarines along the East Coast, and also the possibility that they might try to land saboteurs. Bravo to her, and how lovely to see her and that entire community there at the hospice center honoring her in such a beautiful way. And of course, you know how much I love our members of the greatest generation and their families. Everybody support America's military and first responder heroes. They do so much for us every single day. It's time for us to help them, especially this holiday season. What better way to celebrate this holiday season. Donate $11 a month to the incredible Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Be sure to check them out. They are terrific, and they do so much for America's best. Check them out at t2t.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is Charlie. He's my part rescue dog, part whirlwind. Half of his breakfast always ends up on the floor. And he leaves fur everywhere. That's why I grabbed the Bissell Power Clean Fur Finder. It's cordless, powerful, and actually finds fur you don't even see. If you've got a pet like Charlie, you've got fur everywhere. The Power Clean Fur Finder gets that. Discover how Power Clean Fur Finder makes pet cleanups effortless at Bissell.com.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... There, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Wherever Bud goes, his harmonica goes with him. It's a pocket full of soul. Now he's living with prostate cancer. He asked his doctor about Xtandi and enzalutamide. Xtandi 40 milligram tablets treats men with prostate cancer that has spread to other parts of the body and responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat start swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache. Talk to your doctor and visit Xtandi.com.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's continue your calls, everybody. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. By the way, it's just being reported that the grand jury testimonies and documents and a whole bunch of details tied to the Jeffrey Epstein case could be coming from the Florida and also New York grand juries. And that could be coming at some point next week, that the DOJ is going through to see if there's any redactions, anything that would be extremely sensitive or other issues. But there could be some bombshells coming right before Christmas. We'll see where that goes, but we will definitely keep you posted. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Thomas in New Jersey, line 4. Go ahead, Thomas.
Hey, Rita, Godspeed to you and your program.
Thank you, my friend. You too. You too.
Thanks so much, Rita. You know, Rita, I think Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, is handing on a silver platter an epic level of corruption. It really, there's a lot of evidence that it's going on. I think Tim Walz and Ilhan, I'm now worth $30 million. And I get paid $174,000 a year. There's a lot here, Rita. And if Pam Bondi's plate is spilling over, I think Joe DeGeneva, Alan Dershowitz, and Tom Homan is on my A team. We got to go get this, Rita. This is epic levels of corruption. If they let this ship sail away, I think we could really be gone forever. They've got to go get this in a big, big way. Don't you think, Rita?
You know, I really do agree with you, Thomas, because the reality is you can't just say we're going to fight corruption. You got to, I think, send a message to make sure it never happens again. And as I talked about, if they end up losing the House, which often happens to the party that's not in power, all bets are off. And then these investigations would die. They got to do it now.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to The Payne Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.